How many times have you promised yourself you'd start a new chapter of your life on Monday, the first of the month, or New Year's resolutions? How long can you really keep them going? Let's be honest. More often than not, our grand plans for life changes just remain plans. Even if we feel we need a change, finding the strength to actually do something about it isn't easy. So let's break it down. Why does this happen, and can we change it? If you're liking this psychology video, subscribe to our channel and tell your friends about us. You've probably tried to responsibly approach changing your life at some point, coming up with a whole strategy, making a plan, and sticking to it. That's what they usually advise to achieve goals. First off, you need to set those goals, and they should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, if you want to lose weight for summer, the goal should be lose 8 pounds in 5 months through weekly gym sessions and proper nutrition. Don't rush to write that down, though, because in real life, that system doesn't really work. The thing is, those techniques are geared towards business planning, not personal goals. Those kinds of formulations just scare our psyche. We all have what's called a personal life script, a set of beliefs and expectations, a readiness for some life events or unreadiness for others. We unconsciously perceive an abrupt change in that life script as a threat, and it triggers fear in us. Fear is handled by the limbic system in our brain. Sure, we belong to the species Homo sapiens, and in addition to the limbic system, we have an excellently developed neocortex responsible for rational and logical thinking. But the neocortex is much younger than the limbic system, and in this battle between rational desire and the fear of global changes, it often loses. Fighting the fear of change is tough because we don't even always realize it's there. We're not afraid of the gym, boiled chicken breast, or an art lecture, but for some reason, we still can't start living a healthy lifestyle or take up a new hobby. The thing is, our psyche uses defense mechanisms, unconscious situational actions and techniques that protect us from emotional pain or other unpleasant experiences, and the thought of workouts can genuinely cause emotional pain. There are quite a few psychological defense mechanisms, but when we're afraid to change our life script, rationalization, projection, and denial most commonly kick in. Rationalization is the rational justification of a negative situation. For example, if you're afraid to quit a job you hate, you'll find the tiniest flaws with every single job listing, while suddenly your current work has tons of unexpected perks keeping you from quitting. Another defense mechanism, projection, allows us to attribute our destructive or unacceptable thoughts, desires, traits, opinions, and motives onto others. For instance, if you're unsure of your own abilities, you might think it's your partner or friends who are critical of your capabilities and don't believe in your success. Apart from making you decide not to change your life once again, projection can also alter your attitude towards the people it's directed at. You might break up with your partner or fall out with friends who supposedly don't believe in you, even though they never thought that. Denial is one of the simplest psychological defense mechanisms. It's the complete rejection of unpleasant information that allows you to effectively shield yourself from it. If you once had the desire to improve your foreign language skills, but then suddenly decided your current level is enough, you were in denial. The best way to fight the fear of change is to artificially reduce how big those changes seem. To do this, you first need to let go of strict time constraints and specific expectations. It's much more convenient to visualize the end result through a vision. A vision is the desired end state, not formulated in numbers and dates, but comprising approximate expectations based more on the sensations of the upcoming changes. You don't need to clearly understand from the start how you'll achieve your goals, and you won't have to make a step-by-step plan either, since those steps and methods can change depending on circumstances. The same goal of losing weight for summer in a vision format sounds completely different. I want to feel great in my favorite dress. There is still some specificity in this system, but it's not as scary. All you need to do is identify the nearest target state, that is, the minimally satisfactory result, and think through a few initial steps toward achieving it. These steps should be very simple and clear, like searching online for nearby gyms, calling a trainer, buying groceries for tomorrow. The simpler the steps, the easier it is for our psyche to relate them to the familiar life script and not deviate from the intended goal. On the path to change, it's important to learn how to maintain and sustain a sufficient level of motivation. Unlike animals, we don't depend on instincts and can control ourselves, but it's not that simple if we're not motivated enough. Motivation has two components, psychological and physiological, and we need to leverage both. The first thing that helps us keep the desire to continue what we started is planning in baby steps. Our body has a system responsible for producing dopamine, the reward hormone that gives us a euphoric feeling when we achieve a goal. The more small goals we achieve on the way to the overarching goal, the more enjoyable that journey will seem. It's also crucial to formulate the vision based on your type of motivation. Motivation can be approach-oriented or avoidance-oriented. For approach-motivated people, it's more important to reach a new point and achieve a new result, while for avoidance-motivated people, it's crucial not to remain in their current position. In practice, you can easily identify your motivation type by how you phrase your desires. If they contain the word "not," you likely have an avoidance motivation type, and formulating the vision with that in mind will help you sustain motivation much longer. Another factor influencing how well we stick to new goals is willpower. Willpower is the ability to make decisions and take actions in line with your thoughts, that is, not giving in at the very moments when motivation is lacking. And according to psychologist Kelly McGonigal's research, willpower has interesting properties. First, it's a trainable ability, and second, it doesn't matter what you train it on to improve it. You can start practicing with simple everyday things like making your bed daily if that's unusual for you, or holding a 30-second plank. And then that ability to overcome yourself and act according to your principles rather than desires will carry over to other areas of life. Self-control and motivation are crucial for achieving meaningful change. But there's another key element, giving yourself the right expectations from the start. A common pitfall is setting overly ambitious or vague targets that invite self-sabotage down the line. That's why it's important to be realistic. One technique that can help is to frame your goals using two different timelines, short-term and long-term. Short-term goals should focus on establishing sustainable habits and routines that will ultimately lead to bigger achievements. They need to be specific, but also forgiving, allowing room for imperfection as you're still building the momentum. For example, a short-term goal might be to exercise 3 times per week for 30 minutes, rather than demanding a complete lifestyle overhaul from day one. Or if you're learning a language, commit to doing a 20-minute lesson daily instead of setting a daunting long-term proficiency target with tight deadlines. The long-term vision can be more aspirational, where you want to ultimately be in 6 months, 1 year, or beyond. But it should be tied back to those initial small steps to provide a sense of purpose. Viewing goals through this dual lens provides balanced expectations. The long-term reminds you of your driving motivation, while the short-term keeps you grounded in what's realistically achievable each day. Finally, don't underestimate the power of social support and accountability. Our motivation is heavily influenced by those around us, so share your goals with friends or loved ones who can provide encouragement. Consider working with a coach, personal trainer, or joining a community of people striving for similar changes. Having external accountability partners makes it harder to get derailed by lapses in self-discipline. The path to lasting change is never linear, but being proactive about managing your psychology can help smooth out the inevitable bumps along the way. Start small, adjust your expectations, and don't go it alone. Approach it with preparedness and self-compassion, and you'll be much better equipped to make your vision a reality.